Alright, starting this year, we're gonna make a new woodworking project, and this is what we're gonna make. A coin bank made out of the wood, like pretty much like popsicle sticks, and some plywood panel on the bottom, plywood panel too, and all the sticking up of the popsicle stick for the sidewall. And this is good for you to store all your coins. You can say from the largest, like a quarter, you can drop it in, or any kind of quarter, or any kind of coin, you can drop it in, and it will stay right there. And there's a bottom with a cap on, and then you can just unplug it and take it all out. And just for your convenience, to show you the structure inside the coin bank is the four side wall and the plywood, the triangle on each wood ridge, each side of wood ridge, and the plywood roof panel here. So that's what we're gonna get started soon. This is almost the overview of the material list. This is each one of you gonna get to build the house on the corner there. So if you look at this in detail, everyone gonna get a pack of 100 popsicle sticks to help you to build the sidewall here. Okay, and you're also gonna get the two square they're gonna make up the wood ridge here and here. And you're also gonna get two roof panel, and on top of roof panel there's cut the popsicle stick they're gonna glue on top of this. And this is bigger popsicle stick that I have trimmed it for you, so you can glue it and make this kind of like a shiplet effect of the roof slats, like that. And the last is the bottom plate with the like a plastic plug that plug the hole on the bottom, like that. And plus you're gonna get the four popsicle stick that jig up the bottom surface about the bottom of this plug, so it can stabilize the house to let it sit flat and stable on the countertop, tabletop, or your desktop. This is the house we're going to build, and the house is actually the bank, and you can deposit the coin in. It's made of the plywood on the side, and the plywood roof, and then with the slate actually made of the popsicle stick, and then the sidewall, it's all the sticking up the popsicle stick. So we're gonna start with the gluing the foundation. This is a guide for you to use to make the frame like this. And this frame is like a 5 layer stacks of the popsicle sticks, and on each there's a four popsicle sticks. And then when they lay it up, we stagger it. You see that? We stagger it like that. And then so like when we build it, and this frame is about the height of each. This guide is about the height of this frame. So when you start to lay it out like this inside the frame, you see that it just fit just right in. So when you lay it out, you kind of like push it against the guide, and then you'll get it. So like, and as I said, you have to stagger it. So that's how you stagger it. So you each use each end of the stick against the corner of the guide, and do it the same thing here and here and here, so on and so forth on the four corner, and then you get this type of the kind of the bait, the base, the first layer, and then you stagger it like this, and then you stagger it like this. Of course, we're gonna apply the glue over here, and officially we have to apply the glue on the both ends, so we can stick to this here and stick to the joint. This is the joint here that you have to apply the glue over here. So there's a way to apply the glue. So when you apply the glue, so you can apply the glue on both ends. And remember, you don't have to put a lot of glue in there. You just put like a bead over it, and that will be it. That will be enough, because I don't want to apply too much glue, and then in the end it will smear, and it's very big and make your finger very sticky and very difficult to handle the sticks. So like, you can apply the glue to the both end, and don't apply the glue on the center section, so you still can pinch it with your fingers, and then you can handle it like that, so you won't get messy on your finger. And that's how we lay it up. And I'm gonna continue to lay it out like this. On each frame, there are total 20 sticks. That means there's a 4th stick on each layer and 5 layers of the sticks. So 5 times 4 equals 20. So I'm laying down the 20th sticks on this frame, and then I'll be done with it. And what I'm laying it, so I'm checking it, so I make sure that everything is lined up. And then, so if there are any misalignment, I will just push it against the guide here. See, this is not aligned well, so I would just kind of notch it, and then here I find that this is not lined up well. I kind of like line it up and notch it a little bit, and do the same thing here. Just a fine adjustment everywhere, and make sure that they all line up, and this all line up, so like it will stay within the guide. And once I'm done, and I will just have to be, I can just pop the whole frame down and then lift the guide up. And I have to do it carefully because the glue is not completely dry yet, so the whole frame is still very flimsy. It could go anywhere. And besides that, when you apply the glue, as I said, don't put too much glue on, because once you put the glue down, it will start to smear it, and once it smear it, actually it's gonna spread it. And so like the tiny bit of the glue that you put on actually is good enough, because it cannot spread. And the good thing is actually the Elmer's glue dry very fast. If you just put down a little bit, not too much, it will dry very fast. So that you let it sit there for like a couple minutes, and it will dry. So now I'm just gonna try to pop it up, but I just, like I said, I have to be very, very careful not to destroy the squareness of the frame. So I'll kind of pop it up, and in the meantime, when I pop it, it could have some misalignment still after I pop it out, like this stick here. So I kind of adjust it a little bit, and that will be it. And I can use I can kind of like put it back here at an angle to adjust it, push it again to the guide a little bit, and then and then do the same thing here. Put the guy against it, and then just push it against it a little bit, and that should be it. And then I can leave it aside right there, let it dry for a moment. This is the detail of the sidewall. After I put it together, I put the four sides together. This is the four sidewall on the finished wood cabin, the bank. But as you see it here, that I have a lot of imperfection. This didn't line up perfectly, and that's okay, you know, because this is handcraft. So even if we don't line up perfectly, that's all right. And plus, the wood itself is not straight. So as you can see here, these wood are not straight. So that even you line up on the corner perfectly, then some of the wood are crooked in the middle, and then so you make it not straight. So that's okay. But I just want to show you these details. Like as you know that that might remind you of Lincoln Lockwood that you have been playing with where you are a young child. That you play with Lincoln Lockwood, that you stack them up and then interlock them. And this is the system that we build a lot of wood cabin house with those log wood, and then you kind of interlock them on the corner, and we try to simulate that interlocking on the corner, but we not using the real lock to do it because it's gonna be more difficult for you to interlock them. So we use the popsicle stick here in this case, so they easily for them to lay it up. And in other way, it also look like they are staggered, and it's actually this is also like you laying the brick, but of course we're not laying the brick like a couple brick on one sidewall. It's like just one long brick and then stagger with another brick on the top or on the bottom. So that's how we're gonna do it. So right now we're gonna stick up all the 5 frames together, and to make this sidewall, there's a sidewall portion right here. And as I said, we're gonna need 5 frames. So right now I have 5 frames, and when I stick them up, I will have to pay attention to this stagger here. So see this stagger here, so it kind of stop right here and continue with another stick here. So I want the one stick to ride over it, so it had to be lined up this way. See that? So it lined up this way. It's not supposed to line up this way. If you line up this way, it doesn't have the staggering between the 2 layers here. You see that? It's kind of, it makes that staggering here, that staggering effect here. So you don't want to do this. Instead, you want to do this. So that you have that continuing staggering between the 2. So you do it like this. I hope you get it. Them up. So like I put the fixed layer down, and I know it's not gonna be perfectly lined up, so I will have to line it up. And one way to line up quickly is I just put it sideways, and I can line up this way, push it a little bit to straighten them up, and push it a little bit, straighten it up, push it a little bit, straighten it up. And by this time, after I adjust it, I can just touch it and feel it with my hand and just eyeball it and see, oh, where it is not lined up. And you also can look at the sideway and to see it is lined up perfectly. After finish these sidewall, we're gonna put the roof ridge side panel on. These are the side panel, and the idea is that we're gonna use the 2 square and to put it on like this, and then it only expose the top half of the triangle for the roof ridge. And so we're gonna have the 2 square over here, and we're gonna put it on both sides like that. and then we're gonna put the roof on. And while I'm gluing it, I want to show you something, because we're gonna glue it over here like this, but we're just gonna glue right on the pencil line here. I have drawn the pencil line on each square for you to line up with the top edge of the sidewall, as you can see here. You see that line here? Okay, so this is how it will work. So you just glue it down here. And the reason why we're gonna glue it this way is, I'll show you later. Let me put this up here. So you have two square here, and then we're gonna have the roof here, right? This is gonna be the roof, and this is gonna be the triangle it goes from the square. So that's how they're gonna put together. Now I apply the glue to the square on the bottom half of the square, and I'm gonna line it up here. And as I told you, the pencil line have to line up to the top edge of the wall, and then you just pinch it, and it will stay there. Don't worry, the glue will pinch it and stay there. And you see this? That I cut off the tip here, so the tip won't jig up the square, so you can perfectly line up the pencil line to the top edge of the square without have the bottom tip touch the floor. And this is how you're gonna tape together. And once you tape them together, we're gonna start to tape this, and you can see here that once you tape it, no, not tape it, glue it, it's gonna rest on the top corner of the triangle, and then here you're gonna rest on the top edge of the sidewall here, and also these two sides of the triangle, and it will be like that. We're gonna glue it this way. While we're waiting for the wall to dry, we're gonna start working on the bottom plate first. So this is the black block. They're gonna plug to the bottom hole that for the coin to take out. So we're gonna snap it in. Once we snap it in place, you'll find out that actually the plug itself is above the surface. So we're gonna have to check up the surface, so when you let the house sit on it, it won't rock like this. So we're gonna put these two sticks to check up the bottom surface of the bottom plate, so it will we'll let the house sit on the like a tabletop or desktop or countertop, and then it won't have the rocking effect. So you can basically just line it up, just eyeball it and line it up, let it run symmetric like that, and you will be fine. And then you flip it over, and this will be solid enough for you to let the house to sit on top of it. Now we're going to make the roof panel. I have two roof panels. See here, 1, 2. Then I have laid it flat here, and the reason why I show you on the flat is because I want to glue the slats over here, but I don't want you to glue directly onto the roof. Once it's we put this up, right? We put this up and pull this up and then glue it. Because if you glue these slats on the angle, it's very difficult for you to glue. So I would rather have you guys glue it on the table first. And remember that in the real house, that this slat overhang a little bit on the edge of the roof. So here I did the same thing. So actually it overhang on both ends. So you have to kind of eyeball and center it like that, and then you glue it down. And besides, pay attention to the pencil mark that I make. I put the top edge and the bottom edge here, top down. So they show you that the top over here and down is over here. Okay, so top down, and also there's a pencil mark on the side. That's help you to align the slats. This is the first slat. They're gonna have this bottom edge here aligned to the bottom edge of the roof panel like that, and you center it. And then the second one gonna lay over it, have a little bit of overlap on the bottom edge, and third one the same, will be like that, and the fourth one will be like that. Oh. So make sure that from the number 2 to number 3, number 4, number 5, they have to stack on top of the previous one like that, just like you see here. You see that detail here, right? So this bottom one, very bottom one, it lay flat on the roof panel, and starting on the second one, it starts to stick up on the bottom edge, and the third one stick out on the bottom edge, fourth one stick out on the bottom edge, and fifth one stick on the bottom edge as well. So that's what we're gonna do. So we do it here, and we're gonna glue it down like that. Right now I'm just showing you how we're gonna lay it out before you glue it, okay, like that. And once you're down to the fifth one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, after you're done these 5 slats, stop right there. For this top slat, I want to glue it later after you move this whole thing over to here to glue it down, and because this is a very critical piece to join together over here on the other side of the slat to form the ridge over here. So we only can adjust it once we put the 2 roof panel together, and then we're gonna adjust this slat and this slat, and then we try to close the gap between the 2 so they won't have any gap in between, so that we can have a complete enclosure on the rooftop. Alright, so that's what we're gonna do. This is how we do it. So we apply the glue and put this down and align it to the bottom edge of the roof panel. Remember, top down, so this is the bottom edge, okay? So, and then I kind of nudge it and let it wiggle a little bit, and let it, and eyeball it, try to center it. And for the second one that go on top of that, I want to line it up on the left and line it up on the right too, okay? And see what I do here? In order to better control the gluing, I draw the line along the pencil line here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here, of course, this on the top edge of this first slat, I'm gonna need a glue too to join the second slat. And right here, I'm gonna line it up on the left and line it up on the right. And also that you have to align with the pencil mark here. And this pencil mark, oh, it's covered by the glue, but I think I can kind of get the glue away to see if I am on the right spot. so I probably have to move it up a little bit. So now it is good. So don't worry about this glue. Once it's dry, it will become just like here. You see this? Actually, there are extra glue here. You see that? Right, and you're gonna be dry it out. So don't worry about it. You don't have to smear it. For this one, I can apply on the this slate. I can apply on the this slate. I can apply on the bottom edge and then just put it down and line it up to the pencil mark here and the pencil mark here. This is to finish roof panel with the slats gonna look like. So I'm gonna wait for it to dry, and once it's dry, we can put it on the roof over here, just like this. Now we are going to glue the roof panel. So when we glue this on, and we want to leave a gap here. So as you can see, like here, that when I make the prototype, I leave a gap here. Why I have to leave a gap here? The reason why is that we need to create a coin slot on the top. So we need that gap there for the coin slot. So when I glue this the first panel, I can line it up to the top tip of the triangle. That's no problem. But when I glue the second panel on, I will have to leave a gap. Show you. This is how I glue it, and once I glue it, I put it upside down. So use the weight of the house to put down the weight on the panel to help it hold. And this is how it joined together on the top. It almost flush to the top here. Okay, and then you see a little bit gap here. It's okay, because what happened is I can apply more glue later to close that gap. So we can actually flip it down a little bit, and then we'll apply more glue over there. Just apply the glue over here and here to close that gap. And even with a little bit of seam, it's fine, because I believe the coin wouldn't come out. Be careful with this detail here. This will almost line up with the roof panel here on this side, and almost line up with the roof panel on this side. So only overhang a little bit. So that's how you center the roof panel. I will use a 1 stick thickness as a gap, as a spacer to create a gap on the top, and then glue it. So by doing this, then we can have the good gap for deposit for the coin slot to deposit coin. Okay, so later on we're gonna work on that coin slot like this. We're gonna put it in. We're gonna cut that coin slot and then glue it down here. And this is the model that I'm making, and this is the model that I made before, and this is the slot opening that I did before, and it worked. Okay, so this is gonna be the same slot size I'm gonna use. So I have draw it at this size, and I'm gonna cut it out by the utility knife. And for this part, I really want you guys to practice using the utility knife to cut this on the wood popsicle stick. Actually, it's not that difficult to cut. You just need to, exert a certain force on the knife and to cut it. And yeah, so I have my X-Acto knife, but if you don't have X-Acto knife, that's okay. You can use the utility knife to cut it here and here, and then you need a ruler. Steel ruler is better, so you can use a steel ruler to cut it across here, and then you have to crease it many times before you really cut it down and cut it through. And hope it will be easy for you to do, but if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you can have the ranger to help you with that. This is the most difficult part to form the ridge on the roof. This is roof ridge, so we have to make sure these two slats will meet on the top of the ridge. So that you have to plan ahead. So when you glue it, you have to make sure when you glue, for example, this one on, and then later on the second slat can come up here and to meet it at the ridge. So now I have glued this piece on, and now to check. So before I glue this on, I make sure that the last slat, that slat can meet the slat on the other side on the wood ridge. Besides, I will check this slot is wide enough for me to deposit the quarter into it. So I'm checking it now, and it worked. Now I have this final slat cut with the slots on in the middle. But before I glue it down, I still want to do the final test to make sure the slot is big enough for deposit the coin. Just hang on a second. I have only 2 hands, so I need to grab. So now I move that final slat into position, and I deposit the coin in there. It worked. Okay, so now it's good for me to glue it down. So this is gonna be our final step. Once we have the roof built up, the coin slot here, so the final step is we're gonna put this bottom of the four-side wall on top of that bottom plate, and so we'll just kind of eyeball and center it and just place on top with the glue on, and then that will be it, and we're done. So I just try to center it by hand, and that will be it. And we are done. So it will be like this. And the house is here.